Hey guys, it's Julia and I am doing a little bit of work out in my garden. I will give a full update soon, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm working with today. I'm going to be cleaning up the last of my buckets and preparing them for a new seedling for my, what's going to be my surprise bell pepper plant. I don't know what color it'll wind up being, but I have the yellow squash plant that I transplanted is not doing well. I don't think it's going to make it. So let me give you a little glimpse of that. All right, and here it is. And actually the bottom of it has really gotten really dry and it's fallen over and it just doesn't look like it's doing very well. You can see, you know, what it looks like right there. It's just kind of wimped out at the bottom. So now my thing I'm considering right now is, do I replace it with the one other yellow squash seedling that I have, or with one of the mini tomato plants that I have left, or even the last zucchini, or some of those cucumbers that look like they're doing well. So that's, you know, what I'm facing right now. I still don't know what my answer is going to be, but before I make a whole bunch of changes, I just kind of wanted to update you that that was something that I'm doing. Hey guys, it's Julia again. I just want to let you know what I decided with the squash plant. I did pull it up, and the other seedling I had looked about the same, so I went ahead and replaced that bucket with a bucket with Roma tomatoes. Now, I was growing yellow squash. We don't really buy it or eat it that much, but really it was more of an emotional connection for me because my papa, who always had a garden, always had yellow squash, white squash, tomatoes, and okra, and so it was really just as much about a connection to him as it was about the fruit that I might get. So I'm not really that upset about losing the yellow squash plants, and I mean, I still have a whole bunch of plants that are still doing well, and so that connection, you know, is really still there and still connected. And so so instead of yellow squash plant there, I now have a Roma tomato plant. So here is my newly expanded garden. There's a few less seedlings here, you might see, but I still have several tomato plants that are doing well as some cucumber plants and even a zucchini that's still doing all right. My wildflowers are getting, well, a little bit wild, and I really don't have any idea what any of them are, but I think they're kind of pretty, so that's nice. This is my herb garden, and you may think, well, Julie, you're missing some plants, and that's because I did give some to my mother-in-law. They moved houses, and she had a perfect plant for a sage plant and perfect place for a sage plant and thyme plant, so I gave those to her. This sage is doing well. Both of my cilantros flowered before I bothered harvesting them, and my oregano seems to be doing okay. That sad little bucket is what's left of my spinach. I'm waiting to see if it'll flower, if I can harvest any seeds from it. This is a newly transplanted set of Super Sweet 100 plants. I wound up having an extra bucket and enough soil to be able to plant an extra tomato plant. And I love tomatoes, so it was a good enough excuse for me. There's the Roma tomato plant that's been transplanted for a while. It's starting to look a little better and make a little more progress than it had been. And there's marigolds and some basil. These marigolds have really just taken off. This whole bucket has. Here's the marigolds, the basil, and these two Super Sweet 100 plants. So there's only supposed to be room for one tomato plant in a 5-gallon bucket, and I have the deep watering system in there. So I really have to choose sometime soon one of the plants to keep and one to get rid of. But I'm not that worried about it now because I have this extra set of Super Sweet 100s, and I'm actually going to try to grow both of those in that bucket and see if they both survive. So I might see how well that works. Here is my strawberry plant, and you can see it has a beautiful bud on it, and there's some more around it that'll open up in the next day or two, and it's got some runners. Now, I had previously been pinching off the buds because I wanted it to focus on its root growth, but I think we've reached the time where I'm going to let them start producing flowers and fruits. This is my regular cucumber plants. There's still 2 of them in there, and I may see if they can both grow, or I may just choose one once they get going a little stronger. These are my carrots and a weed, and they look like they're doing pretty well. Look, you can see the top of that carrot, it's poking out. Let's see. This is a lemon cucumber plant. I don't know what it is about rosemary, but I have not been able to get any hint of growth at all from any of the rosemary I've tried to grow this year. I don't know if I got bad seeds or if I'm just doing it completely wrong. This is a bucket of marigolds, and you can see they're not quite as developed as the ones over there with the tomatoes, but they are getting started. This is my little bitty jalapeno pepper plant. I'm not sure yet if it will actually produce something, but we're gonna see. This is the newly transplanted carnival bell pepper plant. It's the only bell pepper plant that survived from seedling form, and it's going to be a surprise color when it finally ripens up. This is my new Roma tomato seedling, and this is the bucket that the yellow squash used to be in. Now when I pulled that yellow squash out, there was hardly any roots to it at all, so I'm not surprised that it wasn't doing well. This zucchini plant is really starting to look really strong, and I'm really excited about that. That lettuce plant that I transplanted and didn't do anything for forever, it has gotten tall and big and started putting on more leaves, and I'm hoping I'll be able to harvest it before it bolts. Here's the rest of my lettuce. This is my poblano pepper plant, and I actually harvested a couple of these to use in a recipe. But I still have that big one. I may be getting some sun scald already, and I may wind up moving my garden to another place that gets a little less direct sunlight. But there's also a pepper there and a couple more in other places. And if you've been following my Instagram, you know that I have a big purple pepper. And that is on the Pinot Noir bell pepper plant. And you can see that there is a new pepper, a bud, and look at that. Crazy big purple bell pepper. And there's a baby one behind it. And I'm so excited about this, like you have no idea. So I hope that, things keep going good with it and that it tastes as good as it looks. So that is my entire garden. It all seems to be doing well for the most part, and I hope you enjoyed this update. Don't forget to follow my blog, Instagram, and Twitter for the most immediate updates, and leave a comment or question if you have one. Thanks, guys. Bye.